It was the conflict brought to an end 30 years ago that at the time had been the bloodiest in Europe since the end of World War II. The war in Bosnia and Herzegovina that killed around 100,000 people, many of them civilians, and left millions of others homeless as part of the wider breakup of Yugoslavia. A series of atrocities, including that of 30 years ago of Srebrenica, when 8,000 Bosniaks, mostly Bosnian Muslims, were massacred by Bosnian Serb forces. It came to an end later that year as a team under the US President Bill Clinton negotiated the Dayton Accords, signed initially in Dayton, Ohio in November of 1995, and then ceremonially in Paris less than a month later. The leaders of Bosnia, Serbia and Croatia coming together to agree to preserve Bosnia as a single state, but divided into two parts, a Muslim Croat federation representing 51% of the country's territory and a Serb republic holding the remaining 49%. 30 years on, though, how have the Accords served the different communities? Some left frustrated that the old Bosnia is no longer unified. Others left feeling politically marginalised. The tensions have not gone away. Well, Karim, Yahiaoui and Mohamed Farhat revisit Bosnia for France 24.
The bustling streets of Sarajevo's old town. Hard to imagine that this was the site of one of the worst conflicts of the 20th century, a war that tore Bosnia-Herzegovina apart. On closer inspection, some buildings still bear the scars of war. The first civilian victims of the conflict are commemorated on this plaque. 30 years ago, as the war was ending, some residents were returning to their homes. A French television channel was there to record it.
À Dobrenia, 2 ans après la guerre, on démine encore les jardins du quartier résidentiel devenu ligne de front du siège de Sarajevo. Voilà ce qu'il reste.
It was a place where I and my husband.
C'est là que nous avons passé les plus belles années de notre vie. Et puis c'est notre appartement.
Il faudrait arriver à une coalition des Bosniaques non nationalistes. Tous ceux qui, quelle que soit leur religion, veulent d'abord vivre en paix.
We caught up with Siad and Hiba Adanalic 30 years later. We show them the footage of that report. They'd forgotten it existed.
Les trous de but. Et aujourd'hui, au mépris du néant environnant, la famille est à nouveau réunie, presque comme avant.
It was when the war just ended, and now we are still alive. We are in the same flat. We repaired everything, and we are still here. But when we see how it was in 1997, we forgot it, how bad the situation was at the time. I think that we all have to remind ourselves on 11,000 those who were killed in our war.
The memories come flooding back. The Adanalic family, like many others, was only able to survive thanks to the tunnel that ran under Sarajevo's besieged airport, just a few meters from their apartment.
This was the entrance to the tunnel. Food supplies were delivered through here. I think in 1994 rails were installed to make it easier to push carts through and distribute food.
In the neighborhood, several commemorative steles honor the civilian victims of the siege of Sarajevo.
On this place, Serb war criminals were killed 14 citizens of Sarajevo. It was happened on the 12th of July in 1993. I think that the Bosnian idea is to have a country of all citizens, as not divided by the ethnic, because my religion and my ethnic belongings is only mine, and this is my, to do it within my home, within my family.
Hiba's dream of a country for all citizens hasn't come true. If there's one city that symbolizes the persistence of divisions in Bosnia-Herzegovina, it's Mostar. Clashes between Bosnian Croats and Serbs raged here between 1992 and 1995. The old bridge has been rebuilt and tourists have returned, but the city has still not fully recovered from the wounds of the past.
Mostar is on the paper unified city. In reality, there are two cities in Mostar, and this boulevard street is dividing Mostar on east and west. To the right is West Mostar, you see Catholic Church. To the left is the Bosniak Muslim part, and you could see mosques behind these buildings. So, to the right, Croats are ruling, to the left, Bosniaks are ruling.
In Mostar, there are parallel systems for education, hospitals, and even two different football teams. Emna Popovac is Bosniak but lives on the Croatian side. Today, she sees reconciliation as impossible, noting the limits of the agreements that ended the war. Marin, her Croatian friend, shares her point of view.
Dayton Peace Agreement froze the war, but it didn't bring lasting peace. Instead of making a future or making a plan for the future of the country, our political leaders are keeping status quo.
The Dayton agreements have an inbuilt contradiction. They enshrine Bosnia's territorial integrity, but divide it into two distinct ethnic entities. On the one side, the Muslim Croat Federation, on the other, the Republika Srpska. All of it tied up in reams of inefficient bureaucracy.
Dayton has created an administrative monster that is preventing the country from going forward. A large part of the educated population has left the country. We've become a country of old people, frightened people. And of course, it's easy to manipulate us.
Nationalist rhetoric and an inward-looking stance have endured since the end of the war. The feelings particularly prevalent in Republika Srpska. For years, Milorad Dodik, the Serbian nationalist leader, has been warning of the possible breakup of Bosnia-Herzegovina.
Obilježava kao Dan državnosti Republike Srbije.
The Republika Srpska has found itself stuck within Bosnia-Herzegovina. I know that many people don't like to hear me say this, but Republika Srpska must begin its process of liberation from Bosnia-Herzegovina. Otherwise, it won't end well. This is the desire of the people.
We went to Banja Luka, the de facto capital of the Serbian entity within Bosnia. Its nationalist leader refused to answer our questions and is uninclined to speak to international media. But his SNDS party sent us 2 young employees and party activists to interview instead.
If the Dayton Accords and the rights of the Serbian Republic and the people who live there continue to be flouted in the future, of course I see the future of the Republika Srpska as an independent state.
The Serbian people will not submit to a foreigner and will not allow other people to put them in a minority, as is the case at the moment. And there will probably come a day when the Serbian people will have the state they have wanted for centuries.
This separatist rhetoric is a cause for concern. An international peacekeeping force has been present in Bosnia-Herzegovina for some 30 years. It has recently reinforced its presence. A few miles away from Banja Luka, a military exercise is being organized and the local media is invited.
It is a fictional scenario which could happen everywhere around the planet. In this specific case, we are operating in a peace support scenario situation in order to restore a safe and secure environment here on the ground.
A fictional scenario, but the media coverage is designed to reassure the population and send a message to nationalists of all stripes. For General Knežević, the highest-ranking officer in the Bosnian army, The threat, however, is real.
They are going to disembark from the armored personal carriers.
Obviously, the threat to security is possible in several ways. A political crisis that goes on for too long, not only political but also constitutional. In any case, it could lead to a security challenge. It's always better to have forces in place that are focused on security and stability than to bring them in once there's an escalation.
If there's one place where people don't want to hear about escalation, it's Srebrenica. Many of the Bosniaks who lived there never returned after the massacres perpetrated by the Serbs in 1995. At the Potocari Memorial, graves stretch as far as the eye can see. Ismail Omerovic lost his brothers and his son there.
It's hard. It's so hard. I'm the only one who knows how it feels. For aid, I was in the house where I was born. I cleared the garden and kept imagining that they'd come and we'd be together for aid. But nothing.
Nedzad Selimovic fled to France when he was barely a year old. Dozens of his family members are buried here. He has inked their story into his flesh.
There's not a day goes by when I don't think about Srebrenica, about what happened. My dad was shot by Serbian forces on July 13th in Kravica. My uncle managed to reach the territory controlled by the Bosniak army in Njezuk. When he got there, he learned that my father had been taken prisoner, and out of love for his brother, he went back. Unfortunately, he was captured and murdered. One camp denies all this, that all these people ever existed. This side, the Serbs, should accept what they did, not necessarily ask for forgiveness, because I wouldn't be able to forgive them. But that would be a first step towards a possible reconciliation.
Bosniaks made up 75% of Srebrenica's population before the war. So many of them left the region that in 2016, a Serb was elected mayor. All these years later, he still refuses to call it a genocide.
It's true that those who committed atrocious crimes are still at large, but the same thing was done to the Serbian people. Here, 3,260 Serbs lost their lives along the Drina River, and no one has ever been brought to justice. Who killed those people? No one here has been held responsible for the Serbs killed, and that's what hurts the Serbian people. And we probably won't be able to achieve reconciliation because justice is selective when it comes to the Serbian people.
Before the war, Srebrenica was home to 30,000 people. That's now only 5,000, about as many Serbs as Bosniaks. It might not be a full reconciliation, but they're trying to learn how to live side by side. The town's even home to the only multi-ethnic dance troupe in the region.
You are in the teaching part of our dance company. This is the Jovanovic School, which has existed for 79 years in Srebrenica. It brings together children from the Bosniak and Serbian communities.
Adna is Bosniak, Magdalena's a Serb. And when they dance together, it doesn't matter.
It's rare to see a mixed company in this country. And I feel happy when we're all here, dancing together. We respect and love each other. I appreciate our friendship, the fact that we're all together, that we form one big family. I can meet people who have another culture, other traditions, and they discover my culture too.
These teenagers may be happy to perform together, but for many in Bosnia-Herzegovina, it's not yet time for reconciliation. In Srebrenica and elsewhere, it seems that nationalist rhetoric is often still more compelling than these small but significant steps towards unity.